Fear the Reaper. The dragon is upon us. Hey everybody, this is Michael with Asymmetrical Preparedness. When you see this video, when it posts, approximately 5 minutes from when this video posts, Pelosi's plane is supposed to land in Taiwan. If it lands at all. China is a real threat. They have manufacturing capability. They have a very large army. And don't think what the talking heads are saying about technological advancement, how we're so far ahead of them. We're not so far ahead of them. They've been stealing our technology for years. So, just wanted to show you setup. This kind of setup may be needed soon if they put boots on the ground. Are they going to put boots on the ground? Don't know. Are we going to war? I'm pretty sure. I mean, I don't see how we can't with, everything going on over there with between the other two countries and China and Taiwan and all this stuff like that. I've thought for a long time, that China is public enemy number one for the United States, not Russia. They are a real threat. They've been buying up our properties like I talked about in yesterday's video. Economically, they have us on the ropes. Soon, they may have us on the ropes militarily. It may take people like you, people like me, and this kind of stuff fighting to keep our country sort of free. Because we're not really the land of the free, home of the brave anymore. But pretty soon, it may be time for more people to be brave, to learn what bravery is, to stand up for our country. This is just a physical representation. I'm not saying that all this stuff's going to be needed and that we're going to be, this is what everybody should be doing, is gearing up, getting ready for war. It's not necessarily the case. This is done to give a visual showing of what we may need to do. We may need to gear up to defend our country. And this isn't a bunch of, hunters with their hunting rifles fighting the Chinese army. Red Dawn? Yeah, it may be Red Dawn. But it's not going to be like Hollywood movies, for one thing. You guys, hopefully you know that. Before I go on any further though, please, if you think this kind of stuff's important, you think preparedness is important, smash that subscribe button. Hit that thumbs up, share the videos, comment below, do all the other things. And normally, setups like this and everything, we discuss on Patreon. Links in the description below. Come join Team AP and learn how to prepare yourself tactically for eventualities that may be coming down the pipe here. So, we need to be training. A big part of it, I've talked about a lot of times, physical fitness. You can't do all this kind of stuff, running and gunning, carrying all this gear, if you're not physically fit. So get physically fit. I know, if war is upon us, minutes from this video posting, well, then you don't really have time to get fit. But, I'm not saying don't start. Start now. Start getting your gear together. Start squaring away your stuff if you haven't already. We're going to have to, if faced with a situation that I think may be coming, I fall into the same thing that a lot of people do. And I'm sure you do too. Normalcy bias. Things being normal. We're the United States. Everybody's like, oh, we're untouchable, we're the best military, all this stuff like that. Well, not so much anymore. Things have shifted, things have changed. We're not the biggest bad boy on the street anymore. We're not the only big bad boy on the street anymore. So, yes, China is a real threat. Are they going to take out Pelosi's plane? And the political ramifications of doing so. No matter what side of the aisle you're on, if you're liberal or you're conservative, your feelings about Nancy Pelosi being taken out on that level, the political level, may be different. But no matter how you feel, if a foreign entity, government, military, takes out one of our politicians, especially one that high in our government, I'm sorry, that's war, period. Plain and simple. It doesn't matter if you agree with her policies or not. We cannot allow another country to take out one of our, our number 3 politician. We can't. We would have to go to war. And I think it's what they want. I think that's why she's going. I don't know if it's actually going to be her or a body double or whatever. It would not surprise me if it was a body double. She's getting old. Maybe she's going to go into hidden retirement somewhere on some villa or in some underground, bunker structure or something like that, and have this body double be taken out, giving us an excuse to enter into war. I don't know. Or maybe she's just old enough where she thinks, oh, well, it's a good sacrifice. I'm willing to sacrifice myself to get us into war. I don't know. Do we have an obligation to the Taiwanese people? Well, Taiwan is not part of China. The whole one China thing, Taiwan is not China. Taiwan is a separate nation, and do we need to put our noses into their business? Well, that's a matter of opinion, whether we need to get involved. I think if you are a freedom-loving person, then you might be on the side of, yes, we need to get involved. But getting involved versus starting it is a big difference. But anyway, that's all aside. If we are going to be in a war, we're being pushed that direction. Whether it's the other 2 countries fighting, whether it's us and China, whatever. This is going to be a major conflict. And it's not going to be quick. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be like the first Gulf War. It's also not going to be like Afghanistan. It's not going to be like that, because it's going to be 2 big, powerful, technologically advanced militaries going at each other. And maybe more than just the 2. You won't own the night. Chinese have night vision. They have electronic sensors. They have all kinds of things. So what are you, what are you and me as preppers, as private citizens, going to be able to do? Well, I've talked about on Patreon some. Defeating drones, defeating thermal, defeating advanced sensor systems. There are ways to do it. There are old school ways to defeat almost every modern technology there is. Are we going to be effective? Well, I'll tell you what, we'd be more effective than if we don't stand up, if we don't get our gear ready, if we don't start training, if we don't start getting physically fit, if we don't start doing all this stuff. Now, you should have been doing it 10 years ago. I've been training with a group of guys for right about 10 years now. Good group of guys. Averages, actually I'm not even going to tell the size. It doesn't matter how many people, because I'm not going to give up that OPSEC information. Which is important. OPSEC. Is the United States government going to empower its people to fight back? I don't think so, because they don't want us fighting. They are of the mindset of the whole globalist agenda. So I think they would call on United Nations, UN, and stuff like that. Have those boots on the ground come help us out if we get invaded. How would the Chinese invade us? Well, I don't think that they would just send a bunch of ships, like Normandy, like D-Day, like those kind of things. I don't necessarily think that would be the way that it happens. Because, and actually, 2nd and 3rd wave, maybe, that would happen. But watch Red Dawn. See how they came in the commercial airliners? They sneaked aboard cargo ships? That part is actually realistic. That, whereas it is difficult, I believe that if you're going to invade a country like the United States, you would have to do something like that. You'd have to get some boots on the ground via infiltration without being obvious. Because if you just come at us like, obvious, well, then it's much easier to stop. So get people on the ground, clandestine, where we don't know they're here, and then they can go about starting to damage our infrastructure. They can start taking out power plants. They can start taking out, manufacturing bases, etc. They can start poisoning water supplies. They can start blowing up dams. They can start doing a lot of other things like that. That guerrilla-style warfare. These first groups of people, troops, that if they do it this way, would be special operations forces. Because these people are trained to do things like this. Just like our special operations forces are trained to do things like this. So, what will we do? Well, we may be in a situation where we can gear up and go protect different assets. And I'm not necessarily doing it that like the government's going to say, hey people, can you guys come help us protect this dam? Maybe not. Maybe it will be the job of us, you and me, to do it on our own volition, to set up an overwatch where at a distance where we're not violating, or causing any problems ourselves, and try to protect that asset. How effective will we be? Well, it all depends. It all depends on how they get in. It all depends on our abilities, our training, our systems like this, our gear, and our abilities. How good are you at long range pewing? How good are you at moving and communicating while pewing? Do you know small unit tactics? Are you physically fit? Do you know hand and arm signals? Do you know land navigation? Do you have a resupply? Do you have enough ammo? These are all things to think about. I think it's a really good idea right now, though, for everybody watching this video that potentially could be in this role. Gunfighter, warrior, soldier, whatever terminology you want to use. To gather your gear, clean your weapons, ensure proper functionality, check all the stitching on your gear, make sure it's operational, check your weapon system, check all the springs, check your extractors, check your ammo, check your mags, check everything. Make sure it's zeroed properly. Make sure that you are equipped properly. Things like this, like, okay, this is just a representation. Obviously, I don't have face paint on. If I was going into a tactical environment, I would have face paint on because right now, see, I blend in fairly well, but you see my face. It's obvious that I'm here. So, common sense dictates, yes, for this video purpose, I didn't put on face paint. I thought about it, but I'm like, that's a big hassle, then I gotta take it all off and stuff like that. So I didn't. But anyway, like I said, this is just a visual representation of what we may be facing soon. So prepare yourselves. The more you prepare yourselves now, the better off we might be. The more you bleed in war, I screwed it up. The more you sweat in peace, the less you bleed in war, okay? Train hard. Train like you fight because you fight the way you train. Getting in the way. Sorry. Sorry, tree. I love you, tree. I should go hug it. Yeah, so this is very real. This is a very real threat. This is, and it's not going to be one of those things that, oh yeah, it's not going to be over quick. It's not going to be, oh yeah, we're so awesome, we dominate everything. It's not going to be like that. What you've been told is only part of the story maybe, or it may not have any truth to it at all, by our government, by mainstream media, etc. The Chinese military is a lot more capable than you probably think they are. And it's never good to underestimate your adversary. Never. Because then you're screwed. Read The Art of War by Sun Tzu. A lot of good stuff in there. And, like I said, I've been training with a group of guys for 10 years. Prior to that, I was in the military for 20 years, where I did a lot of this kind of stuff also. It's a perishable skill. You got to stay on top of it. You got to practice, 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 practice. So start getting your kit together. Get yourself squared away. Make sure you're taking every opportunity to improve your fitness, eating right, preparing yourself. Still do the prepper things. Stockpiling food, stockpiling water, stuff like that. Because then the government won't have to take care of you. It'll free them up to take care of more important things like the enemy. Not that they do a good job at either, but you know what I mean. We have to do our part. And preparing, stockpiling food and stuff like that so we don't become part of the problem is a good thing, right? We don't want to be part of the problem. We want to be part of the solution. And this may be the solution. I hope not. I don't want to have to go fight. I'd rather play with my kids in my yard and take care of my garden, grow my own food. But being realistic, we have to think about these things. We have to know the potential and where it's going to go and the truth about our adversary. Who knows? Maybe there already are Chinese troops on the ground. I would seriously doubt that there aren't. I don't know if I said that right, but I guarantee there's Chinese operatives already in the U.S. Maybe some of these things that we've been hearing lately on the news is because of them. Hoover Dam, food production facilities burning, all these other things going on. Makes you think, right? If you really think about it, it is not that difficult to cause a lot of havoc in the United States if you are trained in such a way to do so. Our water supply is vulnerable. Our power grid is vulnerable. There's a lot of vulnerabilities. Our rail, our shipping, our manufacturing, our refineries, our transportation systems. A dedicated, trained force could wreak a lot of havoc on our systems, making it extremely difficult for us to respond properly. So us as trained citizens, hopefully trained, we need to be ready to assist in any way possible. Maybe nothing will happen. Maybe we won't be called upon. But if something happens and we're not ready for it, then we're SOL. So do your part. Get training now. I've been saying that for a long time. I hope you guys take it seriously. And you're behind the power curve. It's definitely one of those things you should have been doing a long time ago. But it's never too late to start. Because even in the middle of a war, because like I said, this would not be a quick, short conflict. So an extended conflict, and think about it. Afghanistan, we had fathers serving next to their sons and daughters. If it's a long, drawn-out conflict like that, I don't know if it would be necessarily that long, but you would have time to get the training you need after it starts. But why not do it now? Why not be an asset? So think about these things. This is just one of the, it's going to happen. We're going to go to war with China, and it may be happening minutes from this video posting. I know I'll be asleep when this video posts because I set it up for automatic, but maybe when I wake up we'll be at war. I don't know. Like I said, I hope not. But I'm here to empower you guys and to make you guys think and to challenge you guys to step up. Step up your game. Be an asset to society. I love you guys. Have a wonderful day, and blessings to you and yours.